And welcome back to the Average White Guys. My name's Alex Haynes, one of the owners of A Squared, and we help turn those likes into dollar bills through the magic of marketing. Yes, we help with your marketing. And of course, the more important thing is I'm here with the one, the only, the legendary. I'm saying there's books written about this man. You know, all those steaming books that women go and there's like that man on the cover. Really, they used Justin as the template and they just had to change it because he's got his lawyers involved. Because if they actually put the whole thing, everyone would go blind from how good he looks. That's right. Justin Scouten of LOW is here with me. I can't see anything now. Anybody? I'm blind. Justin, say hi.
No, that's not true. Because I'm not making any royalties off that. So I'm just saying.
He's got a bad lawyer.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Justin with LOW Properties, Community Real Estate Services. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
I think it's what, 20%, 25% change you have to make before you have to pay royalties. So they changed it just enough.
Gotcha.
They don't have to pay you.
Damn,
That's what it is.
Missed out again.
Missed out again. Just like that film we can't talk about that you were in.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about tonight, Justin?
I guess if you're talking about the film I was in, we are talking about our first jobs or jobs before we have done this. Yeah, right.
Straight to X rating.
Hey.
Immediately
I
canceled.
don't even know what job you're talking about or film. So yeah.
Okay. Well, we have a friend that dances. Just joking. Shout out to our friend who pours concrete, who's an artist, but we joke that he dances because he's so fit. For the ladies. First jobs. Not probably dancing on the pole.
No, definitely not dancing on poles for me. But it was mowing the lawn is my very first job. You know, that whole teenage thing where you grab the parents' lawnmower, you go around, hopefully find a couple neighbors that'll let you mow their lawns.
Guilt your neighbors into letting you pay them for
I think it was either my sister's friends who would talk the dads into letting me mow the lawns.
Nice.
I remember the 3 or 4 around the neighborhood that I would walk the lawnmower to.
So way back when, were you paid in dollars? Was it cash? Was it Confederate money?
Yeah, right.
Or was it?
Thanks. It was still green at the time.
Was it still green?
Yes.
Are you sure? Was Andrew Jackson on it?
Yeah.
I guess it could have been a $100 bill.
It was like dollar bills.
Dollar bill.
Yeah, I got like $3 to mow a lawn. That was
I was going to ask what the going rate was.
Yep.
Damn, whatever happened to that?
Yeah, but that's when there was like 25-cent candy bars, and you could buy a big gulp for a super big gulp for probably like 50 cents.
For a nickel back then, right? Did they?
No,
were they brand new?
Old.
Were they new to the market when? Were you there when they first rolled out Slurpees? Yeah. All right.
That was the very first job.
First job. Okay.
Then I tried the paperboy route because my sister had it, and I knew after like 2 attempts of waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning that I will never do this job in my life.
Yeah.
So that was, luckily it was her job that I got to experience with her.
Did you have to stuff the papers?
That's part of doing, yes. Because yes, they would drop the whole package off, and especially you have to put the rubber band around it, put the, in the plastic bag if it was raining. I know there's so many people out there that don't even know what newspapers are anymore.
Do you know before today you could actually physically get and kill a tree for only $1.99? You too could deforest most of Africa and the Amazon and get your news on a printed piece of paper. It's crazy. They didn't have tablets back then. How did you survive?
And not only that, to collect the money.
Oh, you had to collect the money too?
You had to collect the money. Yeah. But the only good thing about collecting the money was you got the tips then too.
Oh.
Again, I just knew this more from my sister. But it was almost one of those little tear off tags she would carry around with her and say, okay, would you like to subscribe again? Here, pay this. And yeah.
Okay.
So, but the tips were good, I guess.
So what about, I don't want to say those not real jobs, but what about a real, like, hey, you had to fill out a W-2. I'm assuming they had that back then when they, before child slave labor and there was a thing and you worked
10 years off, man. We're not that bad.
That's what he says. So before you worked in the coal mines as a child, what was your real first job? Like how to do a W-2 and all that jazz?
I worked at a pizza place. Pepperoni's Pizza here in Vacaville. They were one of the first ones that actually put weird stuff on the pizzas like artichokes.
It's not weird.
Feta cheese. No.
That sounds amazing.
Again, we are going back 30 years and that was definitely not a thing.
Oh, okay.
They put pine nuts. Again, a lot of this is so norm now, but back then.
Artisan pizzas.
Yeah.
But are they still around?
No, he closed.
He was ahead of the time. He was
way ahead of time.
He ahead of time.
Actually, his wife was big, some Fortune 500, worked for big Fortune 100 company, and she got transferred, so he ended up selling it to somebody else. So actually, I think he was very successful.
Oh, okay.
He just was moving out of town because his wife made more money than him, and he was like, "I'm selling."
Man, I gotta find a woman like that.
Right? Yeah.
I'll be kept, man. Make my own
So
pizza
then,
joint just for fun.
yeah.
Sounds like
And
fun.
then during the summer, I worked for an underground development company,
Uh,
Solano Construction Company.
Underground development company.
So
You ran fights?
no, not that kind of underground development. That's underground fighting, not underground development. Yeah.
You know, people use different words for different things.
So what we did there, though, is the sewer lines, the water lines, the storm drain lines that go underground before anything else in the development.
Not something I think about, but yes, I know they exist.
They exist, right? Yeah. So that's what we would put in.
What was your job?
Digging ditches.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
Hey, I learned from this was more of a summer job.
Mhm.
So I worked for it for 2 summers once I was 16, and it sucked. I mean, just literally for 10 hours a day, I was just digging ditches. I mean, they had excavators and tractors and everything back then, and it just was a lot of digging in the hot sun because it was the summer.
Mhm.
Luckily, the workers I was working with, they liked me because they knew I wasn't lazy.
Yeah.
So they actually taught me tricks to actually shovel better. I know, yes, there are tricks. Trust me, big time. So you're not breaking your back.
Okay.
But it took about 2 weeks of me just humping and just that dirt around and kind of going, moving and shoveling so they knew I wasn't lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Then they actually would finally show me the tricks.
Yeah.
Because if I was just some, was it gringo? I think is what they call us.
There's other words I get called, but you're much nicer.
That's what they called me all the time. Yes.
I get other words. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't say it on this video. We want to keep.
Yeah. As long as they knew I was actually doing the work, they were nice and showed me how to do things. Otherwise, I saw 1 or 2 come through and they didn't do anything for them.
Yeah.
They let them quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So, funnily enough, similar background. I also started with cheating my neighbors out of money for mowing lawns.
All right.
I did that for a while. Wasn't bad. I didn't stick with it after like 1 or 2 summers. I just wasn't my thing. I did end up trying to work for a landscaping company. That did not go well. I learned real fast that my attention to detail wasn't equivalent to their level of attention to detail. And also that I really suck at hard labor. Let's be honest. I was not built for that.
You got to learn it somewhere.
It was not good. It did not go well for me. I remember both of us came into the conclusion that I should no longer work with them. I don't think I was fired as much as there was a conversation like, well, do you want to keep doing this job? You have to step up. I'm like, no, I do not. I'm good.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I really appreciate that. And it was a friend at the time. He's like, man, you got to really step it up. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this job. Like, you can get paid really well. No, I do not want to do this job. This is not for me.
What was it that you couldn't do? I'm like,
everything. There was not one thing I did well.
I'm not knocking on landscaping at all because there's an artistry to it. There's designs. I get the whole thing. But I'm like, when you're coming in as a 16-year-old grunt,
yes,
there's not much you can really mess up. So
there is. I found out. So it was, part of it was I never did that level of hard work before. And so I was having a hard time just keeping up with the regular guys. I would end up like just covered in filth every day, head to toe. Like everyone else is coming out mostly clean. I'm somehow coming out just filthy.
You're like Pigpen from
pretty much.
Yeah.
I just was I was uncoordinated. So that was part of the problem. I wasn't as strong as some of these guys were. And so they're giving me the same load because I'm the new guy they're trying to break in and I'm barely keeping up with them.
You're the ones that they wouldn't give any advice to because
but I worked from about 2 or 3 months like through the summer. It was awful. Never again. Never want to do that again. So like I'd rake and like I'd be a normal person with a rake, not the landscape perfection, grass all going the right way level. Like they did high end stuff. I was not that caliber of high end. Dug holes. I was not digging holes the right way. I didn't know you could dig a hole poorly. I found out I cannot dig holes the correct way. Yeah. These guys were like by hand, perfect 6-inch circles. And I'm like, I don't know how you did that. I'm like, well, your hole's too long. What do you mean the hole's too long? We'll fill back in with dirt when you put the tree.
Oh,
No. You got like
no, doesn't work that way.
no. But it was not my calling.
Yeah.
I 100% value the people who can do it, not my skill set.
So actually, you now are reminding me of, I think, a job I even had before both of those. I had a friend whose dad was a contractor, and the neighbor of his ended up having the house burned down. And so he was hired to rebuild it. And so they were looking for some slave labor to try and help out with it, because like he was giving him trust me, when I get to the next point of it, it's why it was slave labor.
I'm like, that's not legal anymore. We fought a war about that.
So I went and I was like, okay, he's like, hey, do you want to work? I'm like, sure, I'd love to learn how to do this kind of stuff. And I thought I was kicking butt doing the work. Well, sorry, let me step back. I said, how much am I going to get paid? He goes, well, let's see how hard you work first.
Oh.
Lesson I will never deal with. I mean, I'm glad I learned this at like 14, 15 years old, because that was
contract up front.
Yes. I mean, I still, like I'm saying, it eats me up today.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, this was, where do we want to go with age on this one? Or what year? This is probably 1985. So
right when it was still okay to
let's go slave labor, because it was that by the
child labor, underage.
And here I was thinking it's going to be, I'm tearing up flooring, I'm just hammering things. I mean, I'm like, it's just all demo in a dusty black house because of all the soot.
What was the normal average pay back then?
I was expecting somewhere between $10 to $12
for the day.
No, an hour.
For an hour.
But again, this was all just demo work.
What did you end up with?
$8.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a pretty steep.
It sucked.
Yeah.
So again, I distinctly remember that, because I was like, that was a better life lesson than anything I learned about trying to demo anything or and I've told that to my kids. I'm like, you know what you're getting paid up front.
Yeah.
That goes to any entrepreneur.
So that's great. That's a lesson people need to learn sometimes. So after the landscaping job, I actually did a job I liked and considered a long-term job. This is my first job I actually considered doing beyond just doing it for one time before I decided to do college. I worked at a Wawa. You guys don't have Wawas over here. WAWA. Wawa is, it's amazing. It's like 7-Eleven, just significantly better in every way, shape, or form. Don't tell 7-Eleven that, especially with the new Asian version coming with those, the Asian markets. 7-Eleven, I'm actually really excited about those. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check it out online. Those are pretty cool what they're coming out with here soon. But Wawa was like an experience. They were known for like their fresh coffee. We had 10 different fresh brewed coffees every morning. We were known for subs, hoagies, and like hot meals. And then we sold everything else. We sold cigarettes and then normal like 7-Eleven type stuff.
Hoagies are more of a East Coast thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? I mean, it is a sub, but it is.
No, it's a hoagie. There is unique difference. And
I'm just saying, if you're going to reference it something, it is like a sub sandwich.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with it. Like, sure. You pour
bread, meat, lettuce, tomatoes on it.
Sometimes. Okay. So as soon as there's lettuce, mayo, and tomatoes, is no longer considered a sub necessarily. It's a hoagie, plus the type of bread is different. And then how you make it is also slightly different. All right. So there's a structural component.
Let you keep your East Coast.
Yeah,
like
it's better. Okay,
you're better than us.
We are better than you. So I'm sure there's an actual explanation between a hoagie and a sub. They are very similar, but it was drilled into us. We don't do subs. We make hoagies. Yeah. And you can get them. You get before it was like a big thing. You could get like party hoagies, party sub. It was like
2 feet, 3 feet,
3 feet long, and you get orders in. But I enjoyed it. I took extra hours. I worked hard. I did well. We had someone come out from a corporate, and they asked if I wanted to take over the store and manage the store because the manager was leaving, and if I'd be interested in going to classes and eventually go corporate, and asked if I'd be interested in eventually owning a franchise because I was young and they were looking for young people to eventually they had a whole system and expand, get them young, get them into the school, and then basically help build their people, especially hard workers who are smart. And apparently I fit that bill.
Side question.
Yeah.
Are they still around back east?
Yeah.
Again, I don't know
they're
the
very
name, so
popular.
that's why. Okay.
Very popular, especially it's a Canadian company, so they're really well known in Canada, and they're East Coast as well, very popular. And I think some of them are popping up in Midwest now. Another competitor, if you're ever in the central states, is Sheets. I don't know if you know what Sheets are. Very, very similar. I don't think we have Jimmy John's is the closest here. Added Jimmy John's to 7-Eleven, and that's what a Wawa is.
Okay.
Mix those two together is pretty much what a Wawa is. So, yeah, amazing. Just kidding. So it was one of my first jobs I actually really enjoyed. Everything from stock. It was kind of mindless, to be honest. I could just kind of check out and just show up.
So why did you decide not to go in that realm?
I wanted to get work with the FBI. I had a plan that I totally derailed at some point in my life, but I had a plan, go to University of Maryland, get my degree in criminology, and go work with the FBI. And I got a special card from somebody. I always said, call me, here's my number when you get out of college. And they told me, go to this class. And if you get to this class, you get into this internship, we have a job for you, Mr. Haynes. So
that was the FBI thing.
That was somebody in the US government that I found out later wasn't the FBI. But there was an agency interested in me working with them. Didn't work out. But after doing
I'm glad
research,
you wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing this.
I would
podcast.
Be doing very different jobs.
Yeah.
It, funnily enough, would have been very similar to what I do now for marketing, which is about people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I was good with people.
Yeah. It's interesting how you hope some jobs were going to turn out, and it's just.
Oh yeah, I had my life planned out. I was going to get my criminology degree. I was going to get my top secret clearance, and I was going to be able to. My dad worked for the U.S. government, and so I wanted to have those conversations with him that he couldn't have once I got clearance and know all the cool, fun spy stuff, right? And I was considering a couple different places, DEA. I was looking at the FBI, and I was looking at another agency, which dealt with like analyzing, because at the time I was big into like understanding what analyzing was and like information and stuff like that. Obviously I went a very different direction. I did get my degree in criminology and sociology, but went totally different way.
So the reason I bring that up as well is go back to the underground development, right?
Yeah.
So the last summer, I was there for 2 summers, and last summer I was there, they started training me on the tractors. It was the big loaders that you see carry the huge rocks and excavators. So it was a fun job, especially the last part of my summer. That's what I was doing for about 2 or 3 weeks. They were training me on those because they were hoping that I would come back when I graduated and start working for them, which I did.
Yeah.
Then the rain hit. And then we almost had like 2 months of pure rain, and this is underground development. You can't do anything when it's raining. I mean, they can pump some of the water out if it gets a little soaked some places, but when you're dealing with, especially here in the Vacaville, California, Northern California area, we have a lot of red clay.
Yeah.
And so it's very expansive. And so when you go with that type of dirt, you can only do it, and it can either be so wet or so dry. They actually take moisture meters when they're dealing the roads.
Yeah.
And so you can't do it during the winter.
For those who never dealt with red clay, let me explain something to you. It is the devil's clay. It is awful. Not only will it stain everything permanently red, but it is the worst thing to work with. It's either too wet and slippery and muddy, or it is too hard. There's no in between. It's either hard or death if you walk into it and it will eat you.
So that's the reason you couldn't do anything during the winter, right?
Yeah.
Because it had to be tested so often. And so I went with like 2 months, my first time out of high school, of not having a job. And for some, that might be great. I mean, I was still living at home, but I wanted money.
Yeah.
And so I basically went to them, and about 2 months later, I said, oh, sorry, I quit. I'm going to go find a job.
Yeah, makes sense.
I did upholstery next.
What?
Actually, it was cooler than it sounds. It was actually for a car upholstery shop. Yeah. And we also made spa covers as well for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, that didn't last forever.
No, he ended up going in a different route, and so he was closing down his shop. And this place right next door, friend of the family knew him, and his name was Barry. He owned a cabinet shop. And it was commercial and residential cabinet shop, and they were looking to hire, and I got in there. And that's actually what got me down the road into the construction field. So we can go into more of that in a little bit if you want, but that's that's where it was from there.
I do want to ask, so I have some fun stories. Were there any jobs offered to you ever that you turned down that you kind of went, well, that would have been interesting if I took that job? I have two specific I know of, but I wanted to ask if you had anyone offer you a job and you turned it down later, go, that might have been interesting. What my life
No.
would have been like if I took that.
No, unfortunately and fortunately, I can't. I say unfortunately because it would have been nice to have kind of that reflection of it.
Okay.
But fortunately, I'm glad it didn't because I was happy with all the decisions I made along the way.
So there are two jobs. One, you will totally be like, I can totally see that because you know me. Two, you were like, huh. So the first one's the huh one. When I was working at Wawa, I usually did night shift in the morning because no one wanted it and I didn't mind. I was a hard worker and I got more stuff done. So I'd always get all the construction people coming in at 5 in the morning for their breakfast sandwiches or people coming off late night shift. And so I didn't realize there was a meat packing plant nearby. And the guy asked if I wanted to come work for him. He's like, dude, you're always here working hard. Do you want a job? I'll pay you more. It's like, what do you do? He's like, I'm meat packing. I'll put some muscle on you. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, you got to lift like these 200-pound things and put them on hooks. I'm like, none of this sounds
Yeah.
fun, man. He's like, no, I'll pay you double what you're
Sure,
making.
they would pay you double, but
right? And I was like, I'll pay you
nobody wants to
double.
do it.
Yeah, I'll pay you double what you're making. I was like, well, that's interesting. And I guarantee you within like 6 to 7 months, you're gonna look big and you're gonna be strong and it'd be good for you, man. And I for like 30 seconds I went, no, I'm good. But I've always been like, I'm curious at what my life would have been if I did do that. I say that side notes, funny story. When I met Quinn, my best friend, for the first time, he would have sworn I was a mobster because I came from Maryland. I had a very thick accent and I talked with my hands and I wore a gold chain and I sounded very mobster like. Would that be accurate? Yeah, he was sworn. He's like, don't listen to him. He will try to help you and give you a favor and he will then own you. He's a mobster. I was not, but I'm curious at how different my life would have been if I did go that route because they're not known to be the, gentlest people. Not that they're bad people, it's not, well, they're portrayed one way, right? Obviously.
Unions, things like that, right? Yeah.
So the second job, which 100% you're going to go, oh, yeah. I sold DirecTV, unfortunately, for a little bit while. It was a hard job. Not that I don't have a great product. It just was difficult. I was the guy in Costco bugging people.
Oh,
yeah, that was my job.
Yeah, no, I could see you doing
that. Yeah, so that wasn't the hard job. I got approached by someone who asked me if I wanted to work for him. What do you do? He goes, I work in oil. I go, what do you mean? I would like to hire you. I'll train you. We'll put you in a nice suit. I want you to go to farmers and buy their land. I went, what? He goes, you're the type of guy people listen to. They won't shoot you. I went, walk me back one more step. What do you mean about shoot me? He goes, it's kind of a dangerous job. I went, why? Well, not everyone likes when an oil person approaches them and tries to buy their land out from under them. I was like,
what? I can't understand
he
that,
goes, but
especially farmers.
Yeah, it's like, I guarantee you if you do this, you'll have a crazy life adventure because we don't only work here, you work around the world. If you're as good as I think you are, because I've seen you sell, you're going to be really successful. And he's telling me some of these numbers and they're big numbers. He's like, yeah, one job will probably net you 250,000. For what? He goes, one job, one sale. Net me how much? Like 250,000. Is this legal? He's like, for the most part.
For the most part.
I'm like, whoa, okay, hold on, man.
We'll let the attorneys handle the legal part.
That's not your problem, man. Your problem is to smile, look good, and show up and offer people lots of money. Who doesn't like that? I'm like, dude, why are you offering this money? So
let's go back to the whole shooting part. Yeah.
I entertained it for about 3 days. I actually called him, had a couple more conversations. I was scared. Like there was a unique opportunity, but there's so many questions I had. And it was one of those, like, this just doesn't sit right on a couple different levels. I don't know at that time, like finding real information about businesses was harder. Like, there was a website, but I didn't know this guy from anyone else. This was really kind of a sketchy thing. I never found out if it was legit or not. I'm assuming it was a legit offer, but no one showed up in the middle of the night and tried to kidnap me after I said no. So that was good. But I was really curious, like, what would I have been like if I took that job? Because there's a chance I would have done well and just kept doing it. And it
doesn't sound like it'd be a fulfilling job in life, though, especially with your nurturing portion. Like your action, I know, would probably love it.
My action would love it, and I would just have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know if your nurturing side would end up getting too.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'd be curious at where I'd go in that business, or my nurturing side would make friends. Like that's the thing. I would become friends with a bunch of people who own oil fields.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh, I guess,
necessarily a
yeah.
bad thing.
No, not so bad.
I think I would have become one of those horrible people with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, that would have been awful.
Yeah, real bad.
Yeah, would not turn out as good as I am today. So those are two things I thought would be fun to share of the jobs I didn't do. But you mentioned that you got into construction, right?
Yes, the cabinet shop that I worked for actually turned out to be a really big cabinet shop here in the local area. We did a lot of stuff for home goods at the time. It was right before Lowe's and Home Depot came into the picture and kind of kicked them out of it. But we would do all the commercial registers for them. We did a lot of Barnes and Nobles. One of the proudest things I loved about doing that is, for a while, Barnes and Nobles had these two beautiful mahogany doors, the ones here in Vacaville. Actually, we made them for a bunch of them across the state. But they had these two beautiful mahogany doors at the front entrances.
Yeah.
And I built them from scratch, where like we glue pressed them together. We had a molder. We did the molding. We did the mortise and tenons in them, in the glass, and spraying and staying and everything. And it would be fun to sometimes. They've got rid of them since, because it was, again, 20 years ago.
Oh, the style probably wasn't the same. Yeah.
And so, but it was just one of those proud things where you could like drive by that store and kind of go, damn, I built those from literal scratch.
That's
Even
so cool.
The jams and everything was all from scratch. Yeah.
Funny side note, anything I ever built from scratch didn't last more than a week. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I am not.
Well, you can't make it out of cardboard. So,
well, you know what? That's so true.
And so that's what I did for a long time, is did the cabinet shop.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up having to do a lot of the installs. And so we'd go to it was coffee shops. It was all kinds of different jobs where we do the installs of the cabinets. And so that got me into the construction side of it. I ended up being really good at all the finish work and organizing it. And so we ended up kind of doing more that item of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so unfortunately, that cabinet shop ended up going under because some big corporation in Mammoth, down in Southern California, I believe.
Okay.
It's a big mountain range down there, if I'm not mistaken. Big Bear, Mammoth.
Yeah.
They were opening up some high-end hotel, and we were doing a lot of the cabinets for them, and they just decided not to pay him $250,000.
Yeah, I've heard stories like that.
And they said, go ahead and sue me.
Yep.
Went to the attorneys, and the attorney says, by the time you fight this, you're going to be $250,000 into it. So he declared bankruptcy, and we went into doing construction. And that's where I learned more of the residential construction on that side. So that's how I got into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I'm keep going down the road with things. I'm just saying, from there, I did construction for probably about 10 years. I had my contractor's license, but my dad approached me and said, hey, do you want to go into the HOA industry? Luckily, at that time, I was having knee problems. And so I was 35 maybe at the time. I was like, you know what, at 35 and I'm already having knee problems. My boss walked with a crooked back because of all the stupid things he did doing construction. I was like, I think maybe I'll get out of this field.
Yeah.
And so, I went into the glamorous world of the HOA world.
I think they made a Bond movie about that. At some point.
It's
all the paperwork he had to do, the paper cuts he got.
Hey, I met a lot of Karens and Kens, though. It's been exciting.
I bet you have.
Yes.
Oh, man. Is anyone buried in the marshes? Don't tell me you're being recorded right now. Just nod your head.
Yes. Okay. Actually, I work with one where we're near the marshes. So,
Now we know. This is not an omission to any guilt to the police that are watching this.
So what were some of the things after those, the Wawa, right?
Yeah.
Did I pronounce that? Okay.
So my story went very different. I did go to college, ended up living in Europe for a couple of years. My family moved over there. I ended up doing online college. I ended up going to the British school, which basically gave me a head start in college. So I got a bunch of college credit. I did actually get accepted to University of Maryland, and I got into the class, and I was already pre-accepted into an internship I hadn't applied for. It's a whole nother thing to know that you got into an internship, which you haven't asked for yet because someone decided to put you into it because they thought I was going a direction, which I thought I was too.
Is that your dad?
Nope. This mysterious
government,
this mysterious friend, the mysterious friend that was interested in having, some letter something. So doesn't matter. It didn't end up that way. you know, every good story involves some girl breaking some guy's heart. Happened. I was young. So I ended up going into an internship, actually, where I lived in Texas, where I met my best friend at the time. That internship had it was like leadership training and stuff like that. And after the year, I plan on going back to my normal life and doing the thing I was going to do. And someone there goes, "Hey, why don't you stick around for 2 more years? I think you might enjoy film and television." I was like, I don't know about that. Like, hey, well, at the time I was writing scripts and doing drama. That was part of the thing. I was pretty good at it. I really enjoyed acting.
At least nobody said you were going to get shot.
Yeah, that was very well. I was curious about it, and so I thought about it. And funny, long story short type thing. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor, and my family said, "Well, you can't do that because we don't live in California. We were on the East Coast. It wasn't a thing." I even tried out for like the Oscar Mayer Wiener stuff when I was a kid. Like I tried to do the whole kid acting thing. When it popped up, my mom and my dad would let me try out, knowing that we would never get a call back because I wasn't that type of look or kid. But I always had like this quiet desire to do this creative thing. And I just was told I couldn't. I've always been a really good storyteller. So I kicked around the idea. I visited this internship and I really liked it. And I was like, you know what? There's no way my dad, who has helped me with my plan, is going to be okay with this. So I'll ask him and he's going to tell me no, and I'll go back home and do the job. So I call my family up. "Hey, I got offered this opportunity." My dad, you could have bowled me over with a feather. My dad goes, "You know, this is an amazing opportunity. You may not have this opportunity ever again. What's 2 more years?" I was like, "Who are you?
Yeah.
What have you done with my father? Is it now I know it was aliens."
Yeah.
Because we've been told they're here, right?
Yeah.
they body snatched him. I was like, "There's no way," because like it wasn't free. Someone had to pay for it. My dad's like, "Let's do it." I was like, "Okay." So I did. Um, and it was like for the first time ever breathing air. Like it was like fish in a water. Every aspect of it, things clicked. I loved it. I immediately started getting into writing scripts and like helping direct. In the first year, I not only did not sleep, it's a joke, but kind of true. I did not sleep a lot because I was doing so much. The great thing about internships is if you work them, you can get a lot of work out of them,
Okay.
or you can be lazy and do less. I did over 300 projects, directed and edited over 300 projects in my first year alone. By the second year, we were over 500, 600 projects.
So you said internship, right?
Yep.
Does that mean were you actually getting paid?
No, I paid to work there and learn. So it was actually a production company, and then I actually got a certificate of degree, and I learned by doing. We worked on music videos, mini movie sets. I had stuff on TV that I directed. I produced commercials. I helped with live events. I did voiceovers. I helped with voiceovers. Like I directed, I wrote, I did a lot of things.
Any music videos we would know?
They're definitely on the Christian side of things, but
okay.
if you ever heard of Skillet, I helped with the Skillet music video back then. I don't think there's anyone else you would have known.
No Amy Grant or anything.
No,
That's the only Christian.
But have you heard of Compassion International?
I have not.
You never heard of Compassion International, the giant organization that helps people like in Africa with water? Yeah, so I helped raise millions and millions of dollars with the video we created. Yeah. I was like, how do you not know who these people are? We've had stuff on network TV, you know, those like sad help a dog commercial things. I produced one of those as well, but for children dying in Africa, starving type thing. Yeah, I learned so much. There were days I didn't sleep. I just worked. Quinn was also doing something else. He came in one day. I'm in the edit bays. So we had a bay of computers. There were six or seven computers. I don't remember.
Just so people know, Quinn is your best friend and our producer.
Yeah, producer. We both have the same name, Alex. So I go by his last name. Okay. So he came in to check on me and he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "You're the only one here." I'm like, "Yeah." Wait, that one's done. I'm running over to it. Are you working on 7 different projects right now? 8. There's only 7 computers. I know, I'm behind. He's like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "That's doing this, that's doing that, that's doing this, this doing this, and I'm working on the script right now." "What day is it?" He's like, "Okay, we need to put you to sleep. You are being a little crazy." I'm like, No. I'm almost done. He's like,
Is this one of those where you took the no-dos?
no, that was driving. You
Oh,
should
okay.
never. I found
Yeah.
out the legal speed. We were driving across the country to get to an event, and I was older, so I was one of the drivers, and I was like 10 hours into a like 18-hour drive. It was rough, and I finished up a project the night before, which I probably should have slept. And so I was exhausted. And so they were selling these no-dos, and I misread the label. You're not supposed to take one pill every 12 hours or every 4 to 8 hours or something like that. Not 4 pills every hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, those are kind of like our 5-hour energy drinks, right? I mean, I know they
yes. So I
discontinued
took
the
like
no-dos.
2 or 3
Yeah.
at a go, and I could not sleep for 2 days after that. I was I could feel my heart pounding.
I remember a friend of mine did that with those 5-hour energy drinks at a golf tournament one time, not knowing. Or I'm like, it says 5-hour on there, and he took like 3 of them.
Yeah, it's good for 15 hours, right?
He couldn't sleep
That's
until the
not
next
how
day
that
either. Yeah.
works. I remember a doctor, and I ended up going to see a doctor, something else, and she's like, "What have you had?" Going over my history. I'm like, because I got bit by some very venomous spider and could have died. Um, so there's some crazy stories there with this whole thing, right? She's like, I'm explaining, oh, well, recently I found out I shouldn't take no dose. Like, how many did you take? I'm like, this. She's looking at me like I'm crazy. She's like, you could have killed yourself. I'm like, that was enough to kill a horse. Quite literally. How are you still standing? I'm like, I'm fine. She's like, are you though?
Yeah. It might explain a lot even now, too, right?
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah.
I was dropped as a child.
Yeah.
And then I took a bunch of no dose for fun.
So after you're done with the internship, when did you finally decide that you thought going into this marketing realm was going to be the right choice?
I made the amazing choice of not going into Hollywood, which was the best and worst mistake of my life. Best mistake because it will eat you up and spit you out. Worst mistake because I had to build something on my own. And so we got out. I moved to California. I worked for a couple places doing media for them, local churches, local nonprofits. Sold DirecTV for a while, hated it. Then we, in 2010, started our business, and almost immediately went bankrupt and ended up selling my first job, not selling video production. We sold coaching and consulting, which I didn't understand that's what I was selling until 15 years later. So it took me 15 years to figure out that I should be a coaching consultant. I ended up consulting for a very big organization called Snyder Electric, which I didn't know how big they were till years after the contract. We helped one of the groups win an award, which I didn't find out till years after the contract was over. And I could have asked for triple what I got, but I didn't find out till many years, but it was enough to keep us in business. So this is the first time I ever said as big of a number as I could. Small business.
Yeah.
Didn't know what a lot of money was. The biggest number in my mind at the time was $10,000 for a job. No one pays that much for, and they said, okay, great.
Yeah, they jumped on that one.
Can we
Even if we lose.
give you the money right now? I went,
Yeah.
and I turned to my business partner and go, they want to give us money right now. He goes, how much do you ask for? 10? 10 what? 10,000? What are we giving them? Oh, we're going to build them an app. Do you know how to do that? No. How are you going to deliver? I'll figure it out. Well, how many months do we have? We have 30 days.
How many months?
To build this and deliver it? Yeah, we'll be fine.
And did you?
How? I said, I don't know. Figure it out. 29 days later, we delivered a full functioning app that won an award.
Oh, nice.
For their internal company. It was so good. The president awarded them something for breaking the rules because they didn't tell us the rules. It was for something completely different. They still won an award, and they loved it. And I don't think they ever went public with it, but it was gamification, which I was teaching back then. And I ended up doing like a month of like consulting with this group and talking to these people. Come to find out, they're like really high up in this organization. Years later, I found this. I'm teaching people who are, it was 16 years ago. So I was like 30, it's called, 29, 30. And I'm teaching 45-year-olds who are making $250,000 a year what gamification is and how to gamify things and like how to teach people to learn for fun. And I'm having these people like eat up all this knowledge and have no idea the impact I'm making. So it was a really cool lesson after the fact.
Yeah.
Years later, realizing how the impact I had. And now it's a fun story to go, I'm an idiot. But
Yeah. The experiences that we learned, though.
yeah, the things that you learned, but it was a great learning experience.
You know, it's fun to look back on some of the things that have built us who we are, and I'm going to say the crap you had to go through being an intern and not getting paid for all the experience and time and hours. But I think nowadays it's like, it's almost slave labor. I don't even know. Do they allow internships like that anymore still? Because
they do. No, they don't.
I was going to say, I wouldn't.
They do. They changed
like
the rules.
Yeah.
We've looked into it because we wanted to run one.
Yeah, right.
And then
you're like, can I get some bonus out of this sucker?
Can I do this for somebody else? A lot of rules have changed. So now you have to call it a school. Lame.
Yeah.
There's one thing I will say about all this. I had someone challenge our growth and basically try to throw in my face that we've grown slowly over 16 years. And if you said that 16 years ago, I would have agreed with them and made a bunch of bad choices and got a bunch of debt, and we would not be in business. Because that's what I wanted to do year one. And I was told very firmly by my very smart business partner, no, stop being an idiot, learn how to make money. And he was right. And so we struggled and we had to build this, and I had to figure it out, and I had to get good. Like I had to deliver, and I had to survive off of what we produced. And so my mindset's always been, we produce results for our clients.
Yeah.
Right? You've known me for a while now. And so this person recently threw it in my face and like, well, if you took loans out and you did this, you'd be so much bigger than you are right now. And I said, no, I wouldn't. I would never have the confidence to write my book. I wouldn't have the know-how to do what I do. I wouldn't speak with the authority that I have, and you wouldn't have hired me. Yeah, I would have. I said, no, because there's another company that did exactly what you said, and you don't want to work with them because we produce results and they don't.
Yeah. Alex Hermosi says this all the time, and I'm sure it's way overused, but it's the whole Rocky cut scene thing, in the sense of, you see these people who make it, you think that they just made it overnight, but you don't see the struggles, that the bankruptcies, the, what is the Ford been bankrupt, 5-6 times, whatever that is, those type of things.
I think they're on the 10th time. Who knows?
Yeah. So you never see those things.
What year did they start? That's how many years? Every other year.
So you never see those things. And I think that's what, hopefully this helps somebody that might be listening that's going, I don't like my job. I don't like where I'm at. I don't like this. Okay, maybe it's time to change for one. But sometimes you just got to go, okay, it's this learning experience.
Yeah.
Again, I'm bringing up Alex Hermosi.
I love it.
Because he talks about the selling.
Yeah.
And he says for 3 or 4 years, it took him, all he did was sell, sell, sell. Yes, he was in weights. He owned gyms.
Yeah.
But he said what he learned from trying to sell those memberships was the wrong ways to do it for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And so you think that you're just not succeeding at life, but it's a lesson. It's a different type of schooling than going to college.
100%.
And I think people need to realize that more of, that's what your internship was. It sucked that you weren't getting paid for, I don't know if it was 5-10 years, whatever it was.
It was only 2.
Oh, it was only 2. It's still
only 2.
6 months not getting paid.
Yeah.
Had to be difficult.
But I mean, look at it. Like I look at some of this, like if you went to college for 4 years, well, you're just going to get a degree. I came out with work. I came out with a portfolio. I knew what to do.
Yeah.
That was way more valuable in my opinion, especially with what we ended up doing, was building our own business. It's, like I said, 16 years ago, I would have agreed with them. And now I have the wisdom to say, no, you're wrong. I love steady growth. 16 years ago, I wanted crazy growth and I wouldn't have been able to handle it.
Yeah.
Now I love steady growth. I crave steady increases and not spikes. Yeah. Spikes now worry me because I'm like, oh, something's going to happen. What's going to happen? Right. I love steady increase. That slight edge is wonderful because the more time you put in, the better results you get, and you grow at a steady pace. Now I like when I double and triple my income, but it's, even as I grow and I have employees now, like learning, like having an employee, what it takes to get an employee up and running. I can't just dump 10 people on my lap and we're going to be fine tomorrow. That takes months to onboard people and get them up and running to the level of success I want them to have.
Well, one of the Layla Hermosis I was listening to the other day, where she was talking about how the experience right now that she learned for almost 4 or 5 years was how to hire even the right person. And so you think it's just learning your trade. You think it's learning all the ins and outs of how to even handle your finances. But if you want to grow, how do you handle people? How do you, so it's those type of things that's where all that experience comes into.
And I'm not ashamed to say I've changed in my job. I've changed jobs.
Mhm.
Even though I own my own job, you think I would be doing the same thing because you run it, right? No, I went from doing everything to now running the business. And that's been a learning curve. And I failed probably more times this month than I have been successful.
Yeah.
And thankfully, my team's been there to catch me and help me grow. And then I've been able to get back up and go, okay, cool. Brush off. Lesson learned. Don't make that mistake again. Let's go make a different mistake and grow. It's great. It's amazing. But even if you're not building your own thing, you can do this in work too. Like I think what I love about what we do, we have a mindset that every setback, every grind is one more step forward to our success.
Yeah.
We're looking for the thing to learn. And you can do that in a normal day job and you'll get raises. But you have to be looking for it. And it's a mindset. Like we have that because we need to. But I think if you can learn to have that mindset, you'll be successful whether you own your own thing or work for somebody else.
Yeah, I think when we talk about education, a lot of times people just go to your basic school system, and then that's why people say, "Oh, education sucks."
Yeah,
but
I agree. Actually,
well, yeah.
Now that I've went through everything, I'm like, yeah, don't go to college.
Yes, but it's also one of those that if you didn't go through high school, yeah, do you need to have the A's and B's to be successful? I mean, you look at Gary Vaynerchuk, right? And he got C's all through high schools, and he's worth millions.
Yeah.
But the point of it is he still had to learn the basics of even math, even English. Yeah, history sucks. Maybe they'll learn sometimes, but still knowing where we came from, the struggles that people go through, it still develops you who you are. So I'm just saying that because I'm not trying to preach and say, hey, school's the best. But unfortunately, we need school to develop who we are one way or another. Yeah. But I go with that because education is either learning from a job, either learning from being your own boss, either you're raising a family, you're learning how to be a better parent. So it's all about education in that aspect when I personally say that.
I think I said this on another podcast, which is something I'm so happy my father instilled in me. I grew up having a learning disability. So he said, you need to learn how to learn, which seems like weird. Like, well, if he's struggling learning, how's he? Basically, he said, you need to hack your brain and figure out how you learn. If you can figure that out, you can grasp anything. Because if you can figure out the trick, how you learn, whether it's visual, spatial, whatever it is, if you can figure that out, you'll be able to accomplish anything because you'll learn any task. And he was right.
That's when you're going to succeed at whatever job you end up doing.
Yeah. That's why I'm good at what I do. Like
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to say that to end this podcast is a sense of don't give up, keep educating yourself. Even if it's a job you don't like right now, you can learn something from it. If you have a boss that's an ass.
Yeah.
You're going to learn how not to be that boss.
Exactly.
When you're older. And those are the type of things that you just need to take from those experiences. And, maybe it's the time to leave because you're dealing with somebody that way, but at least learn what you don't want to be later on.
Some of the most valuable lessons I learned was watching bad people make bad decisions and going, I don't want to be like that person. So take it. Like you said, this is a great way to wrap up. I'd love to know from our audience, whether you have your own job or whether you are doing your own business, what are some key things? Or what was your first job? I'd love to know that just for a laugh and giggle. What are you doing now? Where did you start? What are you doing now? Any lessons you've taken from life that you have applied that's helped you get to another level of success? I would love that in the comments. What about you?
Yeah. And chat about it too in the comments as well, because it's fun to hear what other people have done.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as always, a couple things we want you to do. Hit that like button, hit that bell button, hit that subscribe button, because we need that subscription. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your frenemies, tell your enemies, tell the aliens that exist out there. We don't care who you tell, just tell somebody and then force them to click that button. We are okay with violence, just as long as we get those numbers up.
Aliens might even spread it further.
Yeah. Please, aliens, please go ahead and however that works, as long as they got YouTube and it works, make that happen for us. I think that's everything, right?
I think we hit on it.
Oh, until next time, you know the thing. We are
the Average White Guys.